What's going on, guys? It's Danny from Fantasy Stock Exchange here, and today I'll be bringing forth my top waiver wire pickups going into week 10 of fantasy football. Talking about a couple of wide receivers, a couple of running backs, and a main tight end that I am really eyeing in this waiver wire this week. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have already made it through this week, we have faced 9 weeks of fantasy football thus far. And let's be honest, how many great teams I'd see with 2-7 records, 3-6 records? Well, guess what? You know how you fix those teams? You know how you get those teams back on that playoff trajectory? You get your main pickups on the waiver wire. And this week, given a couple injuries at the running back position, given a couple breakouts at the receiver position, there are a good amount of options this week that can really give you flex appeal, RB slash wide receiver 2 type of appeal, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. If you guys enjoy content like this and are interested in seeing more, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below. It really helps the channel grow. And as always, we're ready to go, boys. Week 10 fantasy football coming up. Before we do that, as always, we're going to hit that damn intro. All right, so I'll start off with the first waiver wire pickup of the video, and that's going to be Elijah Moore, wide receiver from the New York Jets, currently only rostered in 28% of Yahoo Fantasy leagues. And a little funny note, a little interesting note, but this week he was actually indeed Week 9's wide receiver 1 on the week, actually topping fellow rookie Devonta Smith. So you guys can see that on the screen. Top 12 wide receivers on the week. Moore, Smith, Zacchaeus, Malik Turner. Like, there are some wild names on there, but the fact that Elijah Moore is on there is not due to some weird circumstances, not due to some weird variance. It is the fact that this is a stud young wide receiver coming off his best game of his career, 7 for 84 and 2 touchdowns en route to that #1 overall finish. And this is a guy that was second on the team in snaps, second on the team in routes run, and first on the team in targets. And he was able to produce with both Mike White and Josh Johnson in the game in these past 2 weeks. Once Zach Wilson comes back, I think that Elijah Moore keeps building on this run of play and ends up being, quite frankly, maybe a league winner down the stretch. I think at minimum, you're looking at a wide receiver 3 rest of the season. If you're currently getting that in the week 10 of in week 10 of the waiver wire, that's absolutely dynamite. But anyways, off of Elijah Moore, we kind of know what he was able to do this week. He had his breakout week. A wide receiver that hasn't necessarily had his breakout week yet, but is fully in store for that to come soon, is going to be Rashod Bateman, wide receiver from the Baltimore Ravens, currently only rostered in 36% of Yahoo leagues. And you guys can see the usage has been there. Jared Small actually tweeted this out, his actual usage this past week, but coming off that Ravens bye week, he had a 66% snap share, 82% route opportunity share, and a season high 8 targets. This is a young, talented receiver who's coming off of his injury that he faced at the beginning of the year and developing into the role that we really expected. And we have seen that this Ravens passing attack isn't only extremely high volume comparatively to the years past, but it's very concentrated. I mean, we know that Marquise Brown is going to get his share, and we know that Mark Andrews is going to get his share. I fully think that based off the usage that we have seen thus far, Rashod Bateman is in that trifecta, is in that trident, that trio of Ravens pass catchers that can be very fantasy reliable. So in terms of FAAB, these past 2 guys, mentioned Elijah Moore, probably about, 20+% at this point. Really, what are you hoarding your FAAB for at this point? And in terms of Rashod Bateman, probably just a little bit less than what we've seen from Elijah Moore, simply because we know that Elijah Moore has already had his breakout. But either way, these are 2 young stud rookie wide receivers that I expect to be very fantasy relevant for the rest of the year, and good for my bank account because I have a lot invested to them in fantasy football in terms of underdog. So anyways, off of these 2 stud young receivers, let's go to the running back position, 2 back-to-back running backs. But we're going to start off with Eno Benjamin, running back from the Arizona Cardinals, only rostered in, did I get this number right? 0% of Yahoo Fantasy leagues, which, I mean, validly so. Coming into the week, you didn't expect Chase Edmonds to go down. But speaking of Chase Edmonds, you get to see this tweet on the screen from Adam Schefter. Test today on Cardinals running back Chase Edmonds' ankle now revealed a high ankle sprain, and now he's expected to miss multiple games. This is huge for Eno Benjamin's value, in my opinion. I mean, we saw that in relief of Chase Edmonds, we saw that Eno Benjamin was able to touch the ball 9 times, look good, look efficient, look explosive on those touches, and was actually able to capitalize on a 21-yard rushing touchdown. And this is a guy that I view as a RB3 standalone value with RB2 appeal if anything were to happen to James Conner, which validly so. I mean, he hasn't really shown he's been able to hold up through his career. So with that being said, I mean, I expect this to be not a full-on committee. I expect James Conner to get a boatload or workload that is sufficient enough to give him a significant edge over Eno Benjamin. But talking about 8 to 12 touches per game, getting some work in the receiving game, I definitely think that Eno Benjamin can be a contributor. In terms of FAAB, 5 to 10% should be able to get it done. If you have to go more, especially in a PPR type of league, I don't mind doing that because I do think Eno Benjamin is going to be able to carve out a significant role on this offense. But anyways, off of Eno Benjamin, we can go on to the fourth running back on the list. That's going to be, or fourth player on the list. That's going to be Devonta Freeman, running back from the Baltimore Ravens. Currently only rostered in 22% of Yahoo Fantasy leagues, but you guys can see the snap breakdown, the routes breakdown, the opportunity breakdown on the screen with Latavius Murray still dealing with that high ankle sprain. Devonta Freeman is that RB1 for the Ravens in the time being. I mean, 57 snaps to 23 and 18 for Le'Veon Bell and Tyson Williams. You guys see the rest of it. Overall, 16 opportunities in this past game. And with Latavius still dealing with that high ankle sprain, I mean, the Ravens play on Thursday Night Football. They play the Miami Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. I expect Devonta Freeman to handle that load on a shortened week for Latavius Murray. And with that matchup, with the opportunity that we saw him get this past week, I'm expecting fringe top 25 to 30 type of production from Devonta Freeman. In terms of FAAB, again, I mentioned 5 to 10% should be able to get it done. You need a spot start. You need a spot flex type of play. I think Devonta Freeman is going to be able to get you through the week. But anyways, final overall waiver wire pickup before we get into the honorable mentions. That's going to be Dan Arnold, tight end from the Jacksonville Jaguars, aka Logan Thomas 2.0. I mean, this is this year's Logan Thomas. I mean, the usage has been incredible. I mean, you guys can see the snaps, routes run, targets. Everything was in favor of what Dan Arnold was able to do on Sunday. I mean, 23 routes run, which was third on the team. Third on the team in snaps, first on the team in targets. I mean, this is a guy that gets absolutely peppered in this Jags offense, and he's going to be a locked and loaded top 12 tight end for me until further notice. He has played extremely well. He's good after the catch, and he has really shown up as a big-time target for Trevor Lawrence when he's needed it. So I'm excited about Dan Arnold, and for those of you that punted the tight end position, this may be your messiah. This may be your savior on the year. But anyways, let's talk about some honorable mentions before we get out of here. Michael Gallup, he would easily make this list, but I've talked about him ad nauseum thus far. I mean, we're talking about a former 1,100-yard receiver and one of the best offenses in the league who's coming off that calf injury finally, being rostered in less than 50% of the leagues. Doesn't make sense to me. Jordan Howard going to be a very, very interesting, very, very popular waiver wire pickup this week. Obviously, had a good game this past week. The only thing that gives me pause in terms of ranking him obviously behind Eno Benjamin and Devonta Freeman is I don't necessarily know how this Eagles running back room is going to break out because we saw it be Kenny Gainwell 2 weeks ago, Boston Scott last week, Jordan Howard this week. I know it's kind of a fugazi, kind of a a stereotype, a narrative that we don't know what the Eagles are doing with the running backs, but it's been quite frankly the issue thus far. And obviously, when Miles Sanders comes back, I don't expect any of these guys, Jordan Howard, Kenny Gainwell, or Boston Scott, to be extremely relevant. So Jordan Howard, I mean, if you're absolutely desperate, he did show some goal line ability. He did show some first and second down ability, but is not a guy that I really, really want to rely on week to week. So anyways, the final honorable mention on this video is going to be Ramondre Stevenson, running back from the New England Patriots. And we saw in relief of Damon Harris, obviously Damon Harris had his head injury. Ramondre looked fantastic. 10 carries, 62 yards, contributed in the passing game. He looked like a very good, very overall sound running back. The problem is, obviously, on his final carry of the game, 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter, did sustain his own head injury. So I'd wait until further notice. Because of his own injury, he's not on this list. I would probably list him above a Devonta Freeman, probably list him even above a Eno Benjamin if Damon Harris was out and we knew Ramondre Stevenson was healthy. But with that issue on his own right, with him having that own injury, I want to monitor the situation. Now, if you're absolutely desperate, the top guys are going to be gone, you throw $3 on Ramondre Stevenson for the upside. I don't mind it, but the head injury is concerning enough to the point where he's going to be listed as an honorable mention rather than being on the top 5. But yeah, anyways, a lot of information in about 11 minutes. If you enjoyed this type of content, this type of fast flowing, hit you in the face type of content, leave a like down below. And as always, subscribe to the channel. We're at just about 8,000 subscribers. I think it's about 7,950 as I'm recording this. So help us out, man. You're going to watch this video. You're going to watch the trade target video later in the day. So we got you covered. Anyways, peace out, y'all. Enjoy your Tuesday.